Okay, so recently I've had some conversations with multiple women on this who say that I'm ignorant for believing that dating, sex, and relationships come far easier for women. How delusional are you, a woman, to think for 1 second that dating is not easier for you as a woman? Literally all day, every day, I guarantee you this woman and a lot of women get bare minimum 4 to 5 DMs a day from random men who want to either have a relationship with them, date them, or have sex with them. Us men don't get that. Now, let's dive deeper. In order for a woman to be attracted to a man, he has to have some form of class, social status, money, attractiveness. He has to bring something to the table just to be able to sit at the table with any woman. A man has to be attracted, a man has to be attractive just to get your attention. And if he's not attractive, he needs to bring something to the table. With that being said, yes, dating is easier for women. Having sex comes far easier for women. And finding a relationship comes far easier for women. Because if you wanted it bad enough, all you would have to do is respond to the men approaching you in person, respond to the men who are in your DMs, or respond to any male attention that you get anywhere, and it'll come far easier for you. Us men, we don't get the type of attention that you women get. By that definition alone, by that logic alone, you as a woman have easier access to sex, dating, and relationships than men do. On top of that, they've done many studies on this. Many studies. And they found that a woman that is a 4 on a dating 1 to 10 attractiveness, a woman that's a 4 has more chances to find a partner than a man that is a 10. They proved this in the Tinder Match. All these dating sites have done studies, and they found that women that are less attractive get far more matches than the top 10% of men do. It's just logic. It's logic that you can't argue with it. If that isn't enough for you, I'll add to it.
Because I was telling him how easy dating is with dating apps. And he was telling me that it's incredibly difficult. And I was like, Pete, you must be doing something wrong. And he gave me permission to create an account for him and just run the account. I've been a virtual boy for 3 days. And I've never felt this bad about myself. I feel like a freaking loser trying to get these girls to like me. And I'm starting to hate women. Because I'm like, when I say I mean Pete, because that's the account I'm using. Pete's about a 6. But I'm so desperate, I'm liking the 2s and the 3s. And even they won't like me back, Pete, which is a 6. So what level of delusion has entered women's heads? Like, what is going on? It is so difficult dating as a boy. I hate it. I'm on day 3 of being a boy, and I hate women, and I'm more depressed than ever.
It's a group of adults all across America who has it easier when it comes to dating, men or women. Here's what they had to say.
Obviously, women.
Women.
I think women have it a little bit easier just because I think guys should pay and because guys should try for the girl.
Nobody.
Oh, women. By far, 100%, hands down, women.
Women have it easier because I think guys are a little bit more straightforward with what they want.
I think women, but only because men make it so easy.
And there you have it, folks. You don't have to agree with all these answers, but you do have to follow us for more. I asked
Men live a harder life than women, and I got data here to show you. Now, obviously, this upsets a lot of different people saying, Pat, how could you say something like that? Blanket statement, men live a harder life than women? Yes. Brace for impact, whether you're going to like it or not. Wait till the end. So based on a research done, DNA research by Dr. Baumeister, he explains that in today's human population has descended from twice as many women as men. Now, what does this mean? In the history of mankind, 80% of women have reproduced and have had kids. Only 40% of men have ever reproduced. So 80% women, 40% men. What does this mean? That means 4 out of 5 women reproduce, only 2 out of 5 men reproduce. Now, why is this? So when we were looking at this thing here, we said, let's look at data. Let's look at some of the stuff that we have access to right now. It could be Tinder, and then let's look at what women look for in men in a short-term relationship and what women look for in men in long-term relationship, and then you get to make a decision for yourself on how to increase your market value. So according to Tinder, this is what you get on how many women swipe right versus how many men swipe right. If you've never been on Tinder, like I've never been on Tinder, swiping right means you're interested in this person. Swiping left is I don't have any interest. When it comes down to men swipe right 53% of the time. That means they're interested. 47% of the time they say, nope, I'm not interested. However, for women, you ready? Ladies, this is you now. This represents your number according to Tinder. You ready? Women only swipe right 5% of the time. 95% of the time, you say, I am not interested, swipe left. A rejection to the man. So
if you look at the chessboard, right, the queen gets to jump all over the board, and the king has to move 1 square at a time, and I think that's done very purposefully. If you go to Monaco and you see a yacht, and you see a man on that yacht, he had to work his entire life, and network his entire life, and get up early, and deal with stress, and tax problems, and police problems, and work his ass off to buy that boat. What did the girl have to do? The girl who's on that boat, the 19-year-old Ukrainian. She had to get a message on Instagram. Boom. So the man moves 1 square at a time, and the queen just jumps on board. This is the point. Female beauty is extremely valuable.
Women our age are more likely to be in relationships than men, which makes you think, who is everybody dating at the end of the day? If the women aren't dating the men, then...
What crosses my mind is I think there's perhaps 2 explanations. One, women in that age group are dating older men, 30 to 40. But I think the bigger thing is that women are maybe think they're in a relationship or are in a relationship, and they're sharing higher quality guys. So, and there's this concept called hypergamy. Women are all chasing after the top tier of men. So a lot of women are happier sharing a top tier guy than settling for a guy that's actually on their level.
Women
to be born, go through puberty, like go through adolescence, go through puberty, young adulthood, then find someone who's around your same age. There's maybe 8 to 10 people in that age group that you're possibly able to, this is, by the way, this is the reason why men have approach anxiety when they come up to talk to strange women, is because there was only maybe 8 to 10 women in your tribe that you had the ability to go talk to. And if you screwed up with one of them, you were going to die a virgin. We look at the chromosomes or the chromosomal records for men and women, and we find out about 40% of men have procreated throughout history and 80% of women. There's a lot of men, probably more than half of men who've ever been born died virgins. So when you realize that, it's like, okay, that's where the approach anxiety comes from. So now just think about everything I said. And now let's take these same Homo sapiens who haven't really developed that much, and then let's give them access to infinite numbers of men and women that they can look at on social media. So now we have certain studies that show women will left swipe 600 times for every one time they right swipe to go on a date with a guy. Women will do something like 16,000 swipes to go on 10 dates. There's one TikTok video of a gentleman. He did 1 million with an M, million right swipes, and went on 2 dates. That was it. For million. And he was
And if after all that I have just shown you, you still want to argue and say that somehow you think that I'm delusional to say that women have it easier, then you are in full denial, you are delusional, and you have no understanding of the actual existence of what's real in the world today of dating.